perhaps the most explosive playoff game in NFL history between Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, coming off a sensational performance against the New England Patriots, where they didn't turn the ball over, they scored on every possession, and dominated from start to finish against Pat Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, the team that's gone to the Super Bowl the last 2 years, the team that throttled the Pittsburgh Steelers. This matchup, I stress this to you, I cannot wait for this matchup, bro. Oh my goodness. So we have these two teams, man, who, coming into this year, I was lower on the Bills, even though I still had them as the 3 seed. But man, they're not going to be able to play like how they did against New England. Let's just get that out the way. They were perfect. They were literally perfect in that game. That's not going to happen again. But it all comes down to Josh Allen, man, because this guy Josh Allen is such a stud. He's such a freak athlete. Me and my friends, we call him White Cam, because he reminds me so much of Cam Newton at the beginning of Cam's career, but with a better arm. Because he can run like a madman. He's so athletic. He can hurdle over defenders. He can truck defenders. He can spin past defenders. I mean, this guy he's got Cam's intangibles as a runner, but then he's also got a better arm. Josh Allen might be the freakiest, the most athletic quarterback I've ever seen. But he's got a crutch, and that crutch is consistency. Josh Allen, we saw it against Jacksonville, where he threw up a stinker. A few weeks back against the Falcons, of all teams, he threw 3 interceptions. They didn't lose the game because it was the Falcons, but they should have lost the game because he played bad. This is the issue with Josh Allen, man. He can, when he puts it all together, like he did against New England, nobody's stopping that team, bro. Nobody's stopping the Bills if they can do that again. Now, I don't expect them to, because that was, like I said, a flawless, perfect performance. But it all comes down to Josh Allen, man. Can Josh Allen be consistent? Have a clean game, no turnovers. Look at this stat line. 21 of 25 for 300 yards and 5 touchdown passes. And he ran for 66 yards on just six attempts. I mean, dude. This guy is amazing. He's amazing. Bruh. But here's the thing. The reason I struggle with putting Josh Allen as a top 5 quarterback, a top 3 quarterback. Don't get me wrong. He's got the best intangibles, the best skill set, rather, I think, of any quarterback in the league, with his ability to run the ball, his freakish arm strength, the ability to escape out of the pocket, avoid pressure, avoid sacks. This guy has it all. He's the most talented. Just looking at straight, athletic traits, gifts, he's probably the most talented in the league right now. But the problem is consistency. And when we look at the Kansas City Chiefs, they know who they are, they're consistent, and they're led by perhaps the best or the second best quarterback in the league. And we can say that because Pat Mahomes, over the last few years, has consistently dominated the NFL. And he dominated the Pittsburgh Steelers last week. And to be fair, we all expected that to happen. Fair play to Pittsburgh. They made the playoffs. They kind of backed themselves into the playoffs by accident. But we all expected Kansas City to win this game pretty handedly. And that's what they did, man. Patrick Mahomes, 30 of 39 for 400 yards, 5 touchdowns, though he did have an interception. But, you know, as amazing as the Bills looked against New England, and that's New England, Bill Belichick, there's something about Pat Mahomes, there's something about the Chiefs in the playoffs when it matters most, do or die, that I can't find myself to pick the Buffalo Bills to win this game, man. I just can't do it. For all the great things I said about Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, and the Kansas City Chiefs, they found themselves. They know how to play football now. Earlier on in the year, they wanted the deep ball, the deep shot, the deep play every drive, and it cost them. It led to a lot of turnovers. It led to ugly football, penalties. Just they weren't playing good football. Now, I kind of said this earlier in the year too, that the way the Chiefs play football kind of reminded me of Zach Wilson as a rookie, where Zach at the beginning of the year, the first half of the year, he wanted the big play. He wanted the chunk play. He wouldn't check down to his running back and let his running back get 10 yards on a first down, which was open a lot of the time. He just wanted to chunk it downfield, get the big plays, get all of it back in one play. And that just doesn't work in the NFL. And I felt like the Chiefs early on in the year were doing the same things that Zach Wilson was doing, where, we know Pat has that freakish arm. We know he's got Cheetah, the fastest player in the league. We know he's got Travis Kelce, all these weapons. But when they can pick you apart, dink and dunk, throw to the running back, throw to Tyreek on a quick slant, throw to Kelce on a curl through the middle for 6 yards, getting those first downs, driving down the field, slowly but surely, that's when they're at their best. And that's how this team beat Buffalo last year in the AFC Championship. These two teams met in the playoffs last year, and the Chiefs, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes was hurt in that game, and Andy Reid constructed a brilliant game plan where instead of forcing Pat to sit back in the pocket and expose him to further injury, quick passes, hike, get the ball out quick, so Pat's not having to run all over the place on that bad ankle. Hike the ball, quick pass to Tyreek, quick pass to Travis Kelce, flat to the running back. Byron Pringle has exploded the last couple weeks. Find him. McCole Hardman, find him. That's how I think Andy Reid is going to look back at that game and see how much success they had, because the Bills, they like to take away the deep ball. The Bills are kind of constructed to beat Kansas City on paper. But the thing is, Andy Reid, this coaching staff, they know how to adjust. And they adjusted last year in the playoffs. And I think, with the way they've been playing, how they have, been accustomed to the dink and dunk approach rather than just the one shot approach, they're going to beat Buffalo, I think. And, as much as we want to talk about Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, these incredible quarterbacks, we got to talk about the supporting cast too. In Kansas City supporting cast, man, they've come alive. Particularly, I want to talk about Jerick McKinnon. This is one of my guys from back when he was with the Vikings in 2017. I had him on fantasy like almost every year. I loved Jerick McKinnon, man. Big fan of his. And, he was on the Niners too. But, TFG said this, that franchise guy. If you don't know who he is, go look him up. He's awesome. He breaks down football as well. Much better than I do. He's awesome. But, he threw out a theory that the Chiefs probably waited for the playoffs to unleash Jerick McKinnon, because what's been the one thing that's held back McKinnon his whole career? It's been injuries. He's smaller. He's a smaller guy. He just can't hold up for a whole 17 games. Now 18 game season plus the playoffs. And that makes a lot of sense. Now, obviously, we don't know if it's true, but that makes a lot of sense because he exploded in this game. 12 for 61, averaging over 5 yards a carry. On top of that, He had 6 catches for 81 yards and a touchdown. This is what everybody and their mama expected Clyde Edwards-Helaire to do when the Chiefs drafted him 32nd overall, is to have that just another pass-catching option out of the backfield for Pat Mahomes. Jerick McKinnon fulfilled that brilliantly, man. And if he can stay healthy throughout this whole playoff run and put up stat lines like this, just another thing you got to worry about with this Chiefs offense, man. That's terrifying, to be honest. That's terrifying, dude. Of course, Travis Kelce had that big touchdown. He's a stud, the best tight end in the league for my money. Demarcus Robinson had a good game. Like I said, McCole Hardman, Byron Pringle, Tyreek Hill. You know, Pringle had 2 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill, of course, caught a touchdown as well. This team, man, is constructed to just kill you in so many ways, man. And I want to talk about the defense of the Kansas City Chiefs, which is going to be probably the deciding factor of this game. The Chiefs defense, the first half of the year, wet the bed. And it's something about those Steve Spagnuolo, who's the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs, some about his defenses where the first half of the year, the beginning of the season, his defense just stink. They wet the bed. I don't know what it is, but when it comes to the second half of the year, playoff time, they ball out, man. They held the Steelers to just 21 points. I know it's the Steelers, so calm down. I know it's the Steelers, but still, they've been playing good football the last half of the year, and I expect them to play well against the Bills too. It's going to be tough. The Bills are going to get theirs, don't get me wrong. But I see the Chiefs defense getting 1 or 2 turnovers out of Josh Allen, whether it's a fumble or an interception. That changes the game, man. But going back to the Bills, man, we got to talk about the Bills and their surrounding core, surrounding Josh Allen. Particularly Devin Singletary, man. I've been really happy to see this because Singletary has also been one of my guys. I've kind of gone back and forth with a couple of my friends who really like Zach Moss and thought he was the better player, and I thought Devin Singletary was the better player. He just wasn't getting the opportunities because Singletary's a 5'8" guy, probably like 205, slender player, especially at running back, and they would never give him goal line opportunities because of his frame. But that is so overstated that a small guy can't be a goal line back, a guy to run in between the tackles when you need him to most. Devin Singletary is a damn good player, man, and finally the Bills are giving him opportunities to succeed. He had 16 carries in that game against the Patriots, ran for 2 touchdowns, including one at inside the 5 or something. He had over 5 yards of carry as well, 81 yards. It was good to see them give him the ball and keep giving him the ball because he's their best running back and he deserves carries. It only took him 3 years. Finally, you get him involved, but it's good to see nonetheless. He's their best running back. Get him involved early and often, and he can catch passes at the backfield too. But Josh Allen only threw the ball 25 times in this game. They were up by so much they didn't really have to throw to him. But he did have 3 catches as well. But then you got to talk about Dawson Knox, who skied for an incredible touchdown in the back of the end zone against the Pats. You got to talk about Stephon Diggs, of course, one of the best receivers in football, probably a top 5 receiver in the league today. Isaiah McKenzie, who's a sort of a gadgety guy, slot guy, burner, fast as anything. He's compares similarly to Tyreek Hill. Now, obviously, he's not as good as Tyreek Hill, but he compares similarly to Tyreek Hill in this offense. He could be their Tyreek Hill, their gadget guy that they give on end arounds, handoffs, sort of a Deebo Samuel type role as well. He's a stud. Gabe Davis, one of my guys. I love Gabe Davis. I actually think he's better than Emmanuel Sanders right now, but Emmanuel's starting over him. They both caught touchdowns in that game. Emmanuel Sanders, another weapon. Cole Beasley, another weapon slot guy. I mean, my goodness, dude. They have so much talent. Both these teams have so much talent. And it could go either way. It could go either way. It could be the Bills. It could be the Chiefs winning this game. It could go either way, man. And I don't know. I don't know who to pick. Um, but I'm siding with the Chiefs simply because they have Pat Mahomes. Andy Reid, I trust him to devise a good game plan to attack the defense. And I need to see more consistency from Josh Allen before I pick the Bills to beat the best team in the AFC. And for my money, the best team in the AFC is the Kansas City Chiefs. The Bills might have a better roster, but the Chiefs are a better team. And we'll see what happens, man. I got the Chiefs winning this game. I can't wait to watch it. Can't wait to see what happens. Um, that's the video, guys. Make sure you like it. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I'll put that in those links in the description. Let me know what you guys think. Who you guys think is going to win this game? I can't wait for it. Um, the most explosive playoff game in NFL history is this weekend. Make sure you tune in. Appreciate the support. Take it easy.